Hello. Welcome to the Tutors of Life podcast where we research life so you don't have to. Episode 283. This is your host, Sean Tudor.
And this is Sam. And this is a tutor episode where we try to teach you something new.
What's up?
It's your birthday.
Mm-hmm. It is indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
I think we podcasted on my birthday too, actually.
Did we?
Yeah, on the actual day.
Nice.
Because it would have been a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good day.
Can't be yawning, dude.
I know. Yeah, it's a good day though.
Mm-hmm.
Some steak in a little bit.
Yeah.
Sweet potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. Cool. What do we got, babe? What you got cooking?
We're just going to kind of go on a little ranty rant, I think.
Is it a rant? For you?
I don't know.
Okay.
I guess it doesn't have to be a rant. What's that guy's... We never found out what that guy's name is, did we? Can look it up. I was watching YouTube shorts today, and one gentleman popped up.
It's called financial audit.
Yes. And he had on this girl that was just interesting. 34 years old. Caleb Hammers is his name. 34 years old. She was renting, or in 2020, she had a job as a IT salesman or something, making pretty good money from what it sounded like. Well, then she decided to quit her job to follow her dreams and become a model and do online influencing, blah, blah, blah. And that really hasn't been going well. And in the past, a year and a half ago, she realized she needed to start changing how she was doing things. But refuses to get a retail job or a fast food job to make ends meet. Instead, she's doing the Amazon routes, because you can do the flex routes. But she said that her problem is everyone picks up the shifts before she can. So her first year doing it, in 2022, she made $23,000 doing that. And then her second year, she made only $13,000 for Amazon. But she made $10,000 on her brand. Oh, I didn't tell you this part. So she says she's an entrepreneur because she has her own brand business,
Nice.
which is herself. She took out a business loan, a small business loan, to pay her employees.
Who's your employees?
I don't know. She has a couple of employees, I guess, to help her run her brand.
She makes $23,000 a year.
She only made $10,000 off of her brand.
How much your employees cost her?
I don't know.
How much was her small business loan?
$20,000.
Interesting. Yeah, so it was actually funny. Corey and I were watching that last night before bed.
With that exact episode?
No.
Oh, okay.
A different one with a fucking stupid-ass dude, 30 years old with 5 kids, making $40,000 a year, and spends over 50% of his money on fast food.
Dude. And that's what, hers, it was... Because I think it was the statement was for December or something. I don't know. But in a month, she spent $400 at fast food, only $140 on regular groceries. So instead of he was trying to tell her, instead of making your minimum balance on your credit card of $340, instead you decided to spend that all on fast food.
I love people.
Dude, and then she tried to justify and be like, well, I make a lot at home. And he's like, what kind of food are you making with $140?
Not shit.
No. And it was really interesting because he was talking about when she said she was ready to get out of the corporate world and do her own thing or whatever. And he's just like, yeah, I did that too. But I made sure my brand, because she kept talking about her brand. He's like, I made sure my brand made me enough money where I could quit my job and survive still. And then like, it was just very interesting. So basically what we're going to, I think, kind of tutor on is just being, what did I tell you earlier? Being logical?
Taking ownership.
Taking ownership. Oh my gosh, yes. That's what the main issue of that woman was. Yeah, taking ownership of your mistakes, of like where you are, if it's good, bad, in the middle. Because so many people, especially I think like our age group right now, like 20 to 40 year olds, even actually up to 50, very few people will take ownership of their mistakes or their actions.
It's not up to 50. It's everyone.
You think so?
Every fucking... I can think of people in their 60s and 70s and 80s I personally know who do not take ownership of their life.
Dude, and if you want to, like, this is especially important for business owners because if you want, like, especially to have, if you want to have employees and have a team, it is going to look better if you, like, let's say you make a mistake. Okay, take ownership of that mistake and be like, you know what? You're right. That's my bad. I'll make sure I do better next time. And you're just, right? You shouldn't be uncomfortable. It was your mistake. Own up to it. And say you're going to do better. And then actually do better.
Mm-hmm.
That was like one thing I really hated about one of the jobs I worked. I don't remember which one it was. But constantly it was like people like blaming each other for one person's mistake. Or like they'd come up with excuses of just like, well, so-and-so didn't tell me that. Oh, actually, I know which job it was. But I won't say which one. The manager's daughter worked there as well.
I remember that.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And she tried telling her mom that I didn't explain good enough of how to do anything. But luckily all my instructions were on paper.
Yeah.
So she got to see that I laid it out pretty fucking clearly. Mm-hmm. But instead of taking ownership of why it didn't get done, she then tried to put the blame game on me. Right. But then it looked bad on her because...
Then there was a trail.
Yep. So, anyways, the whole point of this is take ownership of your mistakes. Because, one, you are going to be a better person if you do. You're going to grow. You're going to learn. You're going to...
What's happening to you?
I don't know. My brain stopped functioning for a second there. I have a cold, again, like always.
Sounds like an excuse to me.
It is an excuse. I will say that. I'm taking ownership. My brain stopped functioning because I have a cold.
All right. Where were you? Were you heading somewhere? Why
is taking ownership good?
You like short-circuited halfway through.
I really did.
It's just like, I'm over here listening, trying to just like, yeah, like it, and then you're just nothing.
Everything just stopped inside of there.
All right. The first thing with taking ownership is you're responsible for everything that's happened in your life this far. I shouldn't say that. You're responsible for you're responsible for your thoughts and your actions. Mm-hmm. Okay. So everything that's happened to you, it's like on you for how you think about it and then how you react or act to it. Mm-hmm. Okay? So thoughts and actions you can control. So no matter where you're at in life, no matter the things that have happened to you, it's 100% on you for what you did with those things. Mm-hmm. And so... let's see here. I'll give an example. Something that happened to me that then I was able to think and then act on. Okay? Mm. I'm thinking. Hold on. What's up?
I was going to use a Holocaust example.
Yeah, I wasn't there.
I know you weren't there, but I feel like that's
All right.
a good example of ownership.
I will use it in a second. Okay, so I bought a truck.
Mm-hmm.
And the truck treated me really well.
Yeah.
For a year and a half.
Yeah.
And then one day, the check engine light came on.
Mm-hmm.
And the engine was blown. On its way to being blown. I bring it in. Get it looked at. All right. It's going to cost 15 grand to fix. That's cool. Sweet. So, what can I do? Or what could I do in that situation? Control my thoughts, control my actions. So, first thought was, F this truck. I shouldn't have bought this truck. Right? All the thoughts that are like, blah, blah, blah. Then, I was like, well, it's my dumbass fault that I sold my other truck and bought this truck. It's like, it's my fault I bought this truck. I didn't have to. I chose to.
Mm-hmm.
So this is my fault. And what can I do about it? Well, I can either get rid of the truck and like just take the loss on the purchase of the truck, or I can put 15 grand into it.
Mm-hmm.
So at the time, looking around the interwebs, I could not find anything to replace it with for 15 grand.
Yeah.
So did the work. Got it done for 15 grand. I took ownership of the fact that I previously had vehicles that would have worked. I sold those vehicles to get other things or to like buy different vehicles because I like change. It cost me 15 grand in a new engine. Mm-hmm. So I had to take ownership that, hey, through thinking, I'm like, hey, dumbass, this is your fault. Now you have to live with the consequences. And so my actions were fix it and drive it. And that's where I'm at today.
Yeah.
And so you have to realize that these things don't happen to you, they happen for you.
Yeah.
So now I can look at it and I can go, okay, next time I want to impulsively buy a truck, I should research the shit out of it to make sure it's a good truck before I buy it. Mm-hmm. I should ask other people who've owned that truck, should I buy said truck before I buy it? And so it's all a learning lesson. And now I know, like, that happened for me, not to me. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. Okay, go ahead with your example.
I was going to say, like, I feel like with the Holocaust, certain people didn't want to take ownership of their actions, of what they did to the Jewish population. And that really, I think, forever caused, like, a strife in, like, those different cultures over there.
Oh.
Because reading The Happiest Man on Earth, he never went back to his hometown in Germany. Because he did initially, and he said they were all, like, standoffish still. And he was just like, okay. So him and his, I don't know if they're married yet, but him and his wife moved to Australia. And rarely went back to, they never went back to Germany. They might have gone back to Europe a couple of times to see family and friends. But they said, like, nobody ever, like, apologized to them for how they acted during that time. And, like, that forever affected him. Like, that forever made it where he was never going to go back there. Mm-hmm. But how much different would it have been if someone would have taken ownership and be like, I'm really sorry.
Right.
Like, you did not deserve this. You shouldn't have gone through this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that probably would have helped things, maybe.
Mm-hmm. I know that's, like, an extreme example, and, like, obviously we weren't a part of that, but I feel like that is something to think about. Like, if you don't take ownership, like, it can really affect how people see you after the fact. Or, like, especially in a leadership role. As business owners, Sean and I, if Brooke came to us and said, hey, guys, you didn't pay this bill, so now there's $100 late fee, or now they're canceling our policy. Like, if we were just like, no, Brooke, that was, like, you're supposed to be the one to do that, she would immediately be like, one, I was never told. Two, you never gave me this thing. Like, she'd probably give us a good list of reasons of why she didn't pay it, because we probably didn't do our part. And then she would always look like negatively on us, because we would just blame her for things that we forgot to do. Like, that's not a good employer. Like, nobody wants to work for someone that does that. But let's say that happens and we're just like, oh shit, Brooke, that is our fault. Like, we'll either take care of it or we'll, like, walk you through it because we didn't do it properly the first time. Mm-hmm. Then, like, that is going to make her feel good and be like, oh, like, these guys are accepting the fault, and will either, like, they'll help me take care of it or they'll take care of it themselves. Mm-hmm. Like, that's a way better employer to work for. I bet you we have all worked for people, especially you at probably the big DC over there, that you get blamed for things even though it wasn't your fault.
Oh, man. Mm-hmm.
And how does it make you, like, think about upper management after that?
Don't really like them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I would say I noticed that a lot more in the military. Than anything else. Mm-hmm. A lot of people had a hard time taking responsibility there.
I just also thought of a recent one, but I won't say it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Let me see here. People do respect you a lot more if you can take responsibility for your actions. However, I have on so many occasions see people who will, like, be like, yep, that's my bad. Shit. Then they fucking do it again.
And again.
And again.
It's just as bad as, say, like, putting the blame on someone else.
100%. If you do not learn and you do not change, that is worse. Mm-hmm. It's just like taking the ownership. Oh, yeah, I know I fucked you. And then they do it again. Mm-hmm. And then they do it again. It's like, oh, wow, okay, great. So you're just a bad person. That's all it is. Mm-hmm. You're just not a good person. I've seen that on multiple occasions. It's
like stabbing someone in the stomach and then being like, oh, I'm sorry, I won't do it again. Mm-hmm. And then you do it again.
And then you do it again. Yeah, you don't. It's not stabbing in the back because you're looking at them like, haha.
Yeah.
Yeah, taking responsibility and then just doing it. It's like, oh, dope.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say to, like, bring this back to somewhat financial world, you have to take ownership of the things you've done. And then you have to make a plan or, like, do something to change the things you did. It's the whole premise behind, like, reviews, why it's so important to review what you're doing so you can make adjustments and make changes so that it doesn't happen again. Because if you're just always saying, like, oh, yeah, sorry, that was my fault, it's only going to last a little while. Mm-hmm. If you're not changing, you get a few strikes, and then it's done. Mm-hmm. Whether it's an employee, whether it's like a partner, relationship, friendship, whatever. If you're not willing to adapt and do better, the ownership means nothing. Mm-hmm. Because then you're just showing the person that your inability to be disciplined is more important than they are.
Mm-hmm. I think it's just like, it's another way of showing that, like, you're right but they're wrong kind of attitude. Right? Like, I don't know. Like, I just keep thinking back to this, like, video with Caleb Hammer. And just every little thing that he, like, instructive criticism he gives her, there's an excuse for everything, or like I'm trying. It's like, well, you weren't really trying. And then just the way she said so much of it was like, I like what I'm doing is right and what you're telling me to do is wrong. It's just like, then why are you even here? Why are you even getting this criticism? I don't know. It's just such a huge attitude difference, I feel, when you take ownership and change versus when you don't.
100%. That's the different personalities in people, right? The victims and the non-victims.
Yes, thank you.
Yep. So, I get this so much in the real estate realm, and then I'll just be done. Someone will be like, "Hey, Sean, I'm really interested in getting into real estate, but I don't have any money." I'm like, "Yeah, that's no worries. Just make more money and put it aside, and just over the next year while you're setting money aside, educate yourself, go to meetings, listen to Bigger Pockets, and then you can then you'll be able to start doing it." "Oh, well, I can't do that because I only make so much at my job." "Yeah, okay, dude, no worries. Just get another job." "Oh, I can't get another job. I don't have time."
There's 24 hours in a day.
Yeah.
You only need to sleep for 8 of those.
Everybody got time, dude. And so it's like, well, then figure out a way to find time in your fucking schedule. "Well, I can't because I got kids." All of a sudden, I don't give a fuck. Mm-hmm. Like, you were the person that decided to have kids. Whether you meant to or not, you did an act that caused to have kids. Okay. So now you want to be in real estate and make more money. But you don't have money, and now you don't have time. So what do we do?
And
Sacrifice.
How is real estate going to help you anyways?
Most of the time it won't, dude. People just think that people are going to get rich in real estate. I remember when I sat down with Luke over coffee 6 months ago. Luke's a good dude. I like that dude. He doesn't have bullshit excuses. This is what it was. Him and I sit down. "Sean, I want to get into real estate." I say, "Okay, cool, Luke. What do you do?" He tells me what he does. He tells me how much he makes. Okay, cool. I said, "Why the fuck are you trying to get into real estate to make less money?" Mm-hmm. He's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "You are going to make less money. You make more money now than if you're getting into real estate." I said, "Why don't you get more skills in your career? Because the more skills he gets, the more he can get paid." Mm-hmm. I'm like, "You're going to be making more working 40 hours a week for someone else than you could doing real estate. So do that. Make that money." I said, "Then invest in real estate. Maybe partner with someone. Maybe invest in funds. Whatever it is. Don't waste your time learning real estate. Just put money there. Invest in a syndication. Whatever it is. But you already make so much money. You already have the skill set that you can build onto, which so many people don't have." It took him 10 years to get where he's at. Okay, so it took you 10 years. Expert.
Yeah.
Okay, 10 years, you're an expert. Okay. Now, instead of going into a completely new field and trying to learn that, taking away time and energy from your expert thing, add on to your expertise, increase your income by another 50%, invest it.
Mm-hmm. Because then don't change your living standards, because then all that extra 50% can then just go right to savings.
That's it. Don't adjust your standards. Just increase your skill set. You're still working similar amounts, but now you're able to set aside 50 more percent. Mm-hmm. Then you'll be getting into real estate. You'll get some write-offs and shit like that. Whatever. But a lot of people, they think that like real estate, because they see people online or Bigger Pockets or whatever, is going to be the answer. And a lot of the time, it's not. It's like, you make good money. Don't try to start something new.
Right.
Do what you're good at. I remember we had at a Whiskeria coffee, we had a gentleman come in who was he was a couple steps down from the head of like the Mayo in the area.
Mm. Oh yeah.
And he's like a VP or something. It was just like, what? And he's like, "I'm thinking of getting into real estate." And one person there was like, oh, well, so this is how you'd find a deal. This is what you do. And I was just like, stop. I was like, stop it. I was like, I imagine you make a lot. And the guy's like, yep. And I was like, hundreds an hour. Yep. That's what I figured. I'm like, okay. Does it make sense for you to write letters at $15 an hour? The guy's like, no. I was like, what do you want? The guy's like, somewhere to park mine and my wife's extra cash because we have multiple hundreds excess a year. So that's what I figured. So I was like, don't listen to this shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, 3 options. Find a partner, find a syndication, or do, I can't think what they're called right now, but they're like funds that you put.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm like, don't fucking go waste your earning potential or your relaxing time where you get to fucking essentially zen out your brain so that you can be more productive at work to be in real estate.
Right.
You make over $250,000 a year, dude. What you doing? Mm-hmm. And so this dude knew exactly what he wanted, right? This dude knew what he wanted, knew what he wanted to do, and we were just like, do this. Where a person who doesn't comprehend that or doesn't understand that tries to solve someone else's problems for them without learning what their problem is, right?
Yeah.
The problem isn't, hey, we're trying to fucking wholesale or flip a house or find a property at a good deal. The problem is we got an extra couple $100,000 a year we need to figure out what to do with. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's a big, big difference than someone making $20,000 a year hoping to make 70.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's why I really like Caleb, because he came from a poor family that they worked themselves up into actual middle class. But he talked about it a little bit today in that video I watched, that he did have financial troubles and like got his shit together and like figured it out. And that's why he wanted to start making content to like help other people, right? Because we know the school system doesn't actually teach anyone. So yeah, I think it's cool that he does that, because he does come from an experience similar to like the people that he brings on the show.
Love it.
Kind of to bounce off of ownership and stuff. I do not care how big your dreams are and your goals are. If you are not making enough money for ends to meet, because you're chasing after your dream, or you think your time is worth more than that. If it's worth more than that, then you should be making enough money to survive, to pay your bills. So if you can't, then obviously your time is not worth more than that. And just get a job. Get a job to make some type of money, to pay your bills, and take ownership of it. Stop spending money on stupid stuff and be an adult. Honestly, I feel like that's what ownership is. Be an adult.
No, because so many adults are idiots nowadays.
I know.
Be what you think an adult should have been, maybe, when you were a kid. I'm going to piggyback off of that. Yeah. Because I like it. There are times in life when things are best to do. Mm-hmm. There's times when it's not right to do. Mm-hmm. Okay? When you're young, it's the best time to take risks. Yeah. As you age, it gets questionable on how big of risks you should take. Okay? Back to the thing. You have kids. You have to take care of a family. Yeah. Okay? Make sure before you quit your endeavor, whatever it is that's providing for the family, make sure you have something else lined up that will equally still provide for the family. So if that means in your afternoons and on your weekends, after the kid goes down for sleep or whatever, you're doing self-development, you're gaining a new skill, you're maybe working a little part-time, whatever it is, so that when you make that switch, you can still provide for the family. Yeah. Because like people, like there's that with social media, there's a big push on like, I can't do something part-time. I can't have any backfall. I've got to cut the cord and I got to go 100% at it. And it's like, yeah, that can work, especially when you're younger and you live with a bunch of roommates and you eat ramen noodles. If you got a stay-at-home mom with a couple kids, maybe this ain't the time to cut the cord.
Yeah.
Or if the mom works and the kids are in daycare and the dad works too, but when the dad cuts the cord, well, they can't afford food, daycare, mortgage, and everything. Maybe you should build that up before you cut the cord.
Yeah.
But so all this ties back into the richest man in Babylon.
Oh, it really does.
This has been going on forever. It's an endless thing. People always will blame their there's always a percentage of the population, it's usually greater than the percentage that isn't, by a lot, that blame their circumstances on outside forces instead of on themselves. Mm-hmm. And things don't change for you until you accept that it is your responsibility, your burden to fix, and then your discipline that will get you out of whatever situation you're in. But until you can make that distinguishing change, you will forever be the negative Nancy. You'll forever be the person who blames everything else, and you will not get ahead in life.
Yeah, and that's the only way to, overcome it and to battle against it, is to accept, okay, yeah, sure, I grew up in poverty, but I don't have to stay in poverty. If I work hard, learn these skills, do this, I can get out of it.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, especially, I think in the U.S. is worse than anywhere else, where we all blame our upbringings for where we are now.
We're also taught to do that, though.
True, we are.
Be victims.
Mm-hmm.
So, cool. That's what I got.
Cool.
I want to make food.
Yeah. Don't be a victim. Own up to your mistakes. Fix those mistakes and change to be a better person. And also check out Caleb Hammer on YouTube.
You can read Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink. It should help you out.
Have you read that?
Mm-hmm.
No, I haven't. I should.
Cool. All right, gang. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you on the next one.
See ya.